I'm going to be talking about my progress so far today. So, this far I've achieved some things. I started web development back in November. I started taking this course on Udemy, and that was because I just kind of got inspired by this video by Gatsby. He pretty much said that you could become like this kind of new Renaissance person, and you could achieve financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And that sounded great to me because freedom is what we desire. It's the masculine natural desire, it's freedom. So I started working on it then, just an hour a day, and I've incremented it over the months. By the end of college I was doing 3 hours, but I've increased the velocity of my incrementation, so to speak. So I was adding like 15 minutes every 10 days. Now I'm adding 30 minutes every 5 days. So it's a completely different level. I'm doing about 8 hours from now on today, and it's just going to increase from here. So far I've gotten about 3 clients, and I've done them all for free, except for hosting or domain names. So take that for what you will. I consider it somewhat an achievement because I was cold calling and I got one of them through a cold call, and that was good enough for me. And word of mouth is also a courageous thing to do, so I think that's good as well. So yeah, 3 clients basically done now, so I'm pretty happy with that. Honestly, I think I'm doing okay. I just wouldn't mind getting it done as quickly as possible, that's all. And yesterday, you might know, I started cold calling again. So I cold called 53 times yesterday, and I cold called basically 53 times again today. Very specific, I know, but it was just coincidence. I was on a call with a sales rep of Imperium Consulting or something, and they told me to like get at least 50 cold calls a day, because I told them I was struggling to get like 100 an hour. Don't know how people can do that. I get like 10 an hour because I have to keep finding the leads. But today I discovered this new thing. Like I use ChatGPT. I use it for a good few things now, but I'm making sure not to grow dependent on it or anything. I consulted with it, then it just said make sure to have your list of leads there beside you, and then I realised I should probably be doing this in advance, probably getting the list in advance. And this guy called Sobri, I watched him on YouTube for a minute or two earlier on today, and he said that it kills your momentum completely when you have to keep going onto your computer and then going back up on your phone ringing, instead of like having all the leads in front of you instead, and then ringing instead on the phone. I thought that was a good idea, very good idea. So yeah, I've gotten like 30 leads now on my laptop. It took about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to get them. So I think that's okay. Like, it's going to free up a lot of my time if I'm able to just avoid having to look them up. I'll probably get these all banged out now in an hour or two, which will be great. Way more time efficient than what I normally get. It's not about beating other people who are way better than you. It's about beating yourself from yesterday. About 6 months ago, I never could have imagined I'd spend 6 hours in a day cold calling and pushing myself to my psychological limit, as well as working out and meditating and being able to completely control the emotions in my mind. That's another thing as well I've been doing. The last few months, you might already know I've made some videos on this, but I've learned to completely control the emotions in my brain. Now, I obviously can't control everything. There's going to be times when I do still get mad, but it's exceedingly rare compared to what used to happen to me. What used to happen to me isn't experienced by about, I'd say, 99% of the population. It's because of just circumstances. I become like this irrational, extremely neurotic individual. I fantasized about doing heinous things. It wasn't nice, and I'm not like, I always intend like the best thing, and I just kind of valiantly soldier on, even with these violent thoughts in my head that would just come in when I get super angry. Like I'd just be in college and I'd be on my laptop studying, and then I'd be trying to do this physics problem and it just won't be coming out, and a stupid automated grading system then keep giving me the wrong answer, and then I couldn't get this grade up in time before my computer science lab would start, which I also didn't enjoy at all. There was just not much of a solution, and I'd just be hearing these cackling happy people in the background. It would just annoy me so much. I'd feel like taking a telephone and bashing it over their head. Honestly, I'd feel like doing that. And it sounds crazy, but I'm sure some people experience that, even like emotionally healthy individuals from birth. But that's what I used to be like. But then I read this book, The Chimp Paradox, and it gave me this brilliant technique that just completely took away the anger from my life, and it's only getting better every month. I don't get angry or even emotional whatsoever. Like, I'm not a particularly emotional person. You might have noticed in these recordings my voice is completely monotone. I barely have an inflection in my voice. You might think I have an AI voice, you know, that stupid ad. I can feel happy, I can feel sad, you know, that. It's like that, you know. I can impersonate a robot. That might be a bad thing, but I think it's better than what was before. I feel like, I don't know, I'm beating someone to death in front of their whole family, you know, and it just wouldn't be easy to control. Like, I'd just be there struggling in on myself, and I couldn't enjoy anything in life. Not like I was depressed or anything, it's just I couldn't. It was just an impossible problem, but then I completely fixed it. I just used that technique, and I've discussed it in another video. I think the video is called something like How to Solve Problems Effortlessly, or Solve Difficult Problems Easily, yeah, something like that. Just explains the whole process, but it was very useful. I'm very glad I was the type of person who would take the stand and actions to get control over my emotional health. It was a great thing. I didn't have to succumb to any sort of distractions to distract from the fact that I couldn't control myself. I faced the truth and I faced the pain, and it was worth it in that particular scenario. Now, I know I still have a lot to do, obviously. I don't sound like a human. I don't think of other people as humans, but I'm not going to get into that now. This is a progress video. I've completely overturned my work ethic as well. So a couple months ago I would have been like, I just can't do more than 4 hours because I haven't trained myself up enough yet, but now I have, and I've just done it. And I can do it rather easily now. Like, I'm coming up onto my last hour now. Well, actually, no, I'm coming up onto the end. Like, I'm at the end of the last hour. It's not bad. I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow as well. But it's the same difficulty that I found doing 1 hour and 45 minutes back in December. So I think that's pretty good progress as well. And it's funny because we wouldn't think that we'd be making so much progress in the year after we're supposed to have graduated in secondary school, because that's usually when people are celebrating that the hardest part of their lives is basically over. Like, our final exam in Ireland is the Leaving Cert, and the most difficult exam you'll ever do, easily. And once you get to the end of that, then people basically don't have pain in their lives anymore. Now, my story was a different story. I was going through agonizing pain for the last 6 years studying, and it was particularly awful in 6th year, and the year felt so long that I'd say that 5 of this last year could have fit into 1 of that last year. So my time perception has slowed down a lot. Like, the time goes so much faster for me now, whereas before it felt like a day was like a week, would be equivalent to a week now. That's what it felt like. So it was very painful, but then most people would have stopped and just enjoyed themselves. I didn't. I doubled down on the pain even more since Leaving Cert, and I took a dopamine detox, and that was pretty much when I stopped using my phone, stopped playing video games. I would just sit down for 3 hours and do nothing. And yeah, it was another form of torture I imposed on myself. I don't know how useful it was, but it formed some kind of momentum in myself, and I started reading Harry Potter. Great decision. I enjoy those books even to this day. I also read non-fiction. I started reading non-fiction pretty much then, and I'm not reading it so much anymore, to be honest, because I don't think I really need it much. I'm just doing a load of stuff now. I suppose it's got me into the real doing phase, which is where you need to be. So I was just reading stuff like I was listening to the Compound Effect audiobook by Darren Hardy, the Brian Tracy one about making a million, and since then I've just read a couple of other books and stuff. And I was just basically looking forward to college after the whole summer, because then my dopamine detox would just be, I wouldn't say over, because I was still going to be abstaining from the use of devices in a dependent fashion, but I was going to be like kind of, it won't be boring anymore because I'd have something to do. I'd enjoy maths a lot because my maths was kind of the one thing I enjoyed in secondary school. I hated all the other subjects. Well, not hated, but I just didn't enjoy them as much. I didn't study them as, I did study them as much, but I didn't enjoy studying them as much. And yeah, maths was supposed to be this end-all be-all thing in college. I started attending the lectures and didn't enjoy it that much. Felt like it was going, I don't know, a bit too slowish, and it was like our module for applied maths was just taught abysmally bad most of the year. Like we had one good lecturer, and we were expected to do these complex exams anyway, and the only ones who didn't struggle were the ones who had done applied maths and leaving cert. And bear in mind, this is a group of talented young individuals who have tons of energy to study, and well, maybe not tons because of alcohol and stuff, but still, like they're very talented. They're probably not going to have been struggling on maths throughout their lives. I know I wasn't, but I was there because it wasn't taught properly, and if it was, I would have easily gotten through it. But no, I basically taught myself the whole module up to the end of summer, and I got a pretty good grade at the end of it then, because I studied it properly. But I had to teach myself, which was just a waste of time because I should have been taught. Like that's what I worked for the last 6 years doing. I was supposed to be taught something like that. That's what I wanted, wasn't it? An actual education. Like that's why I did the leaving cert with such conviction. I wanted to be taught further with maths and actually know like how to learn more efficiently. It wasn't supposed to be where I had to teach myself. And that was when I came upon that video. It was very eye-opening. The New Age Renaissance, how their governments are basically trying to control the world. You're pretty much going to be destined to be a working class person your whole life, because the narrow few at the top are just always going to be taking away your money. And yeah, struck a chord within me, decided, screw this. Like, why should I bother just being a good boy and continuing this life? It's just so predictable, set by everyone around me. Why should I keep listening when it's caused me such distraction? So I opened my eyes, I saw the truth, and it was not pretty. And I was piling work on myself on top of my college work as well. And to be fair, college work is jack crap. There's like nothing, or there shouldn't be much anyway, unless you're teaching the module to yourself. So I actually did have a considerably quantifiable amount of work, but it wasn't comparable to the leaving cert, obviously. But it was still quantifiable because of the lackluster teaching, and I had that on top of working on my business. So yeah, I continued then, and now I'm just making a ton of cold calls. I'm hoping to get my 4th client. and just persisting until someone tells me to F off. It's not fun. It's not a fun stage. Most people would perish, and I'm holding by my fingernails. But I won't quit.